What is up, everyone? Welcome to, I believe this is episode 16 of the Gran Turismo 4 Germanlocke. Now, today, as you can tell, I did some grinding off screen. And now I have come into some fortune. I think I may have met a Nigerian prince along the way who actually made good on their promise of giving me millions of credits. So, thank you. Today we're going to be buying some cool stuff to try to make this game a little bit easier. Last time out, the RS6 got completely crushed in the Supercar Festival, and it's been a while since I filmed this. It's been like several weeks, honestly, since I really sat down and played this. But I've been kind of on an itch to play older GT games again, and so I figured I'd pick this back up and try to finish it off, because I am trying really hard to keep this from being just like the Pokemon Platinum Let's Play and not finishing it. So, the only Let's Play I've actually finished in the last several years has been the GT2 Plus Let's Play. And all people are going to say, oh, but you like kept going and then stopped then. And yeah, I mean, I took a breather from it because I filmed it for so long. This time, though, more than likely will end after seeing the credits roll, which is kind of the point of this series. So don't expect me to do a ton of content on the endurance races or anything like that after I finish the GT World Championships, but we are going to play at least until the credits roll. So let's go ahead and get started with today's episode. So right away, I mean, we have 10 million credits thanks to our friend here that gifted us 10 million credits. So yeah, let's buy a race car. So I could do the Le Mans 24 Hours event if I had access to it, but I don't. So we're gonna buy the Audi Art race car in cash. Plus, I don't have the patience for that. We're gonna go, I think, with the yellow one, because I think the yellow one's the one that raced in IMSA back then, or what was it called, IMSA back then, or American Le Mans Series. Which means this car probably is the one that came around Road Atlanta, which is my home track. So always good to see this thing, and we are already out of a lot of money. So I was reading on the Gran Turismo wiki while I was working yesterday the strategy for this. So we are gonna go ahead and buy the should already have those. We're gonna buy I think it was just the regular hards. I'd have to look at the wiki again, so I'm gonna do that real fast. Okay, so yeah, it was hards on the rear and mediums on the front. I forgot it was this really wacky setup they ran with. So I am going to do an oil change as well on the R8 race car, and we are going to go ahead and do the Stage 3 turbo setup, not Stage 4. They specifically said do not do Stage 4, even though that almost 1100 horsepower sounds like a good idea. They say that Stage 4 is just really hard on tires, so I'm going to opt for Stage 3. Against my better wishes, and we are going to go ahead and do the oil change, which should push this car well over 900 horsepower, and we should be set up at least for the GTWC side of things. But I am going to go back, and we're going to try a different car for the Supercar Festival. We're going to save this one for a future video, because I don't want to go in and just crush the rest of this game with this car, even though I could. I'm going to choose to still play it kind of fair, even though we were gifted some amazing riches and fortunes here. So if it isn't obvious enough, people are wondering what I actually did. When you pass 365 days in Gran Turismo 4, you can kind of do like a Konami code type deal on the main menu, and it gives you 10 million credits. You can also use this to gold any event you want, gold a license tests, all that kind of stuff. But I opted for just the 10 million credit code just to keep me from having to spend more time on Costa di Amalfi. I am so sick of that. I'm so sick of staring at Costa di Amalfi's loading screens. I want to just play. I want to just continue through this game. So opted for this. And yeah, we're going to get an SLR McLaren. Now, I actually just built one of these in Gran Turismo 7, and I absolutely love these cars. This is by far my favorite Mercedes product, and I think if we're going to go to the Supercar Festival, we need an actual supercar, since apparently my supercar killer RS6 sucks. So, we're going to go nuts with this car instead, in its place. So, interestingly enough, there's NA tuning, but no supercharger upgrade for this car, considering the SLR McLaren is supercharged. So, I don't know what to do about that. We're just going to rock with the standard setup, I guess. We are going to go nuts with it. We're going to put probably racing hard tires on it, though, just because of the tire wear and the Supercar Festival. It's pretty brutal. So, I figured I would probably just kind of chill and give one of my favorite cars ever a chance to shine. I've been kind of on a fix with the M113K engine. Now, while I don't know for sure if the SLR McLaren is using the M113K, I know it is very similar to the M113K, and more specifically in the E55 AMG. I love those cars. It's by far one of my favorite things ever made, and so, you know, I'm glad for one, it's in this game, but two, I kind of want to get one day for myself. So you're probably wondering why I skipped over the exhaust. I don't want to listen to how bad this game butchers this car. I cannot wait for, I can't remember the actual name of the mod, but it's a Gran Turismo 4 mod that's in development that fixes almost all the car sounds in this game. Because Gran Turismo 3 did a pretty okay job of car sounds, especially when you look at the Penos, or Penos, whatever you want to pronounce it, or like the Ford GT40, stuff like that. Gran Turismo 4, 5, and 6 completely butchered it. It was some of the worst car sounds I've ever heard. So a lot of time in those games, I tend to run stock exhaust just because they actually sound halfway decent. And in this game, it's probably the worst in GT4. If you guys remember in one of the last episodes, I did the IA license with the 190E, and I complained for a bit about how bad that car sounded. So, you know, I am a hater of some of the car sounds in these games. So, anyway, it looks like we've about got everything we'll need outside of our weight reduction. I'm fully building this car, obviously, because we're going to need it for the Supercar Festival. The RS6 just did not have it in it. So this car is going to be our choice for this one for now, since this is going to be the car that can do it, can actually go in and do some hurting on the series. So we'll probably go back and do the events that we need to do there. The races, probably do the races we didn't do last time out, and then go back and do the races we need to win still to close this out. So obviously the last thing we need to do is the oil change, and to slap some spicy wheels on. I think honestly, we're gonna do a aero on this one too. I want to get this car like race car status, and so I'm gonna put a wing on it. I know a lot of people are probably gonna think it's sacrilegious to mess with the looks of the SLR McLaren because it is such a beautiful car, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So I'm just gonna send it. We're gonna make this car look aggressive, race car-y, and go and absolutely wreck house with it. Hopefully wreck house with it. I could be speaking too soon here, but we are going to go with the tried and true, my favorite wheel ever, the BBS LM. But where is a silver one? Because I've done the gold face ones so much on cars in this game. It's time to give some silver wheels a good look. Well, guess we're not putting aero on it after all. Apparently you can't put a wing on the SLR McLaren. So yeah, let's get on down over. Let me find it. There it is. The professional event. So we really only have, we're being blocked by the Supercar Festival and the Truck Championship, I believe, back in the beginner event hall. Okay, so we got the lightweight K car and the sports truck race, because these are the only two cups you physically cannot do with a German car. So technically, like I've said probably several times now in this series, to answer the question from episode 1, can you beat Gran Turismo 4 with just German cars? No, because there's no trucks and K cars don't exist in Germany. The smallest one in the game, like the A class and the Lupo, are not able to race, or the A2 for Audi. So yeah, technically you cannot fully beat the game without using the cheat codes. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's see. Do I want to do New York or Infineon? which is Sonoma now. I think we're going to go New York first. Crap. I spent all that money on racing hard tires just to be sent onto sports mediums. That probably explains why the RS6 struggled so much. Outside of the fact it was just a boat. So we've got a Celine S7, the W12 Nardo concept, which I was really vying we could get before this. But turns out the only way to get the W12 Nardo is to, of course, play in the Extreme Hall, which is only unlocked after you finish the main game, I guess you could say. It's a post-game kind of thing. And probably wouldn't be able to run here anyway because they make sure you can't run that stuff on anything, but the AI can. The AI can. So let's see what the SLR McLaren can get up to here. I'm excited for this one, honestly, because I love this car. The SLR McLaren is one of my favorite cars ever made, so I'm really excited to get this going. If this rolling start could just take any longer. Come on, let's roll. We are racing. Right away, we got the spiker out of the way. The unfortunate part is due to the fact that my monitor only has 2 USB ports, and I have both my controller and my mouse plugged in. Wow, the brakes are so bad. And my mouse plugged in, because I have a rechargeable battery mouse. My headset is plugged directly into my tower, which is getting kind of in the way of my screen. I kind of have a bit of a halo going on right now for my F1 fans. Wow, these brakes are atrocious. Okay, so that's going to be something to deal with. I'm hoping I actually put the brakes on. I swear I did. But I'm going to just have to brake really early on the longer straights on this track here. I'm going to be like on top of that stuff. Come on, let the better supercharged V8 pass. I know as an American, people are probably going to think I am the worst thing ever for saying that, but in my opinion, the SLR is better than the Ford GT. The only difference, obviously, being that the SLR doesn't have the manual like the Ford GT does, which is like the one thing I can give the GT the edge for. Because I feel like the SLR probably would out-handle the Ford GT. And they cost about the same now. Back when they were new, the GT was an absolute steal. But, of course, unfortunately, they've become collector cars, just like the SLR has, honestly, though. The SLR is still holding about mid-400s. This thing's a bit of a handful. Bye. See what she can get up to in the straight before I absolutely send it to the wall, because there's no way this thing can stop in time. 5 speeds still. I got scared. I got scared. I'm still not going to make it. I braked way before the braking point and still sent it to the wall. That sucks. But, so yeah, I mean, kind of just a retrospective. I've really enjoyed this series. Trust me, though, I am more than excited, though, to move on to the next Gran Turismo playthrough alongside what will be the GT5 Let's Play for a little bit longer. GT5 will kind of take over as the main series. I've been undecided if I'm going to do 2 series side by side again like I have been. While it's been giving you guys more uploads, it's a lot of work for me on top of my work schedule in real life outside of YouTube. My actual day job. It's been difficult to you know, mass film, mass edit, schedule the uploads, and just kind of navigate all this stuff. So it's difficult for me to edit and upload 2 gameplay series at the same time. So maybe not do that. I don't know. I'm probably going to try to continue the best I can. I'm filming this like right after I just finished editing episode 15, so which is saying a lot considering that it's going up like the week after I'm filming this. So it's like between a couple episodes away from being posted on its own. So if that tells you how hard it's been for me to find time to do this. Like the first few episodes, I was able to edit pretty quick, but of course that was when I was only doing 1 series at a time. Once I introduced the GT5 Let's Play, it kind of... Come on, turn, dang it. These brakes are so bad. I'm bewildered by how terrible the brakes are in this car. But, after I introduced GT5 into the mix, it kind of slowed me down a little bit on editing, on filming and editing this. And plus, I just got kind of bored for a minute, if I'm honest. I mean, I love this game. But, of course, I am more into the games that I played when I was younger, which were GT3 and GT5. I didn't play GT4 until I was in my mid-teens because I missed it as a kid because I was the only person in my family that actually liked Gran Turismo when I was a kid. My dad was more into the open world arcadey stuff, whereas I adored Gran Turismo more. Trust me, I have a lot of nostalgia for Need for Speed Underground 2 in particular. I played a lot of that when I was a kid, but to me, Gran Turismo 3 carries my nostalgia when it comes to racing games. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's obvious. A lot of people, their first and some people's only Gran Turismo experience was Gran Turismo 3. And for me, that kind of kickstarted a monster because I'm really big into sim racing now, and I still play Gran Turismo. I actually just passed 527 hours, I want to say, in GT7, which is interesting because it's a game that I barely would say I like in comparison to its predecessors. I like it more than GT Sport, but for me, that's not hard to do. I'm a big single-player-oriented kind of guy. I don't do a whole lot of online stuff, which is part of why I like the older GTs, because they put a huge emphasis on offline, on single-player content, which is, again, why I like GT3 and GT4, and even GT5. GT5 had a pretty solid single-player, but I feel like that was when they started to start their fall from grace, so to speak. I braked way too early, but I'm like paranoid about sending this car into the wall because I am bewildered by how bad these brakes are. That is insane how bad they are. But yeah, I mean, it's just been like, that's my thing. Is just keeping single player stuff alive, and that's why I like GT3 and GT4. Hopefully they'll get back to that soon and put a real effort into single player, because to me, GT7 single player felt so just kind of just meh, like it was kind of an afterthought. I didn't like necessarily despise it by any means, but I missed the format that Gran Turismo pretty much from the beginning used, from 1 through 5, because even GT6 didn't really adhere to the same setup. What I would love to see is just the detail and just character GT3 had. I would love to see that with a future Gran Turismo update. Of course, that's just me. I'm nostalgic. I love GT6 or GT3, excuse me. Which is actually going to be our next Gran Turismo playthrough. We're going to do a Gran Turismo 3 prize car only run, which should be really fun. I've never done it. I hear it's really difficult, and to me, the hardest part about the whole thing is going to be just trying to get all golds on the B license. Older GT license tests for some reason are really difficult for me. As you guys saw when I was going through this, you guys saw maybe 1 or 2 gold licenses the entire time I was doing those license tests earlier in the game. I would say probably the easiest one for me has been GT7. I did get all golds on the Master IA, which was extremely tricky. It took me an entire night to do that. And that was with my wheel setup. I'm significantly better on GT with a wheel than I am with a controller. Like, I'd like to say I'm not doing too bad for this lap, as I start to understeer towards a wall. I'm trying to swing the back end out a little bit, rotate the car. So I'm noticing with this thing a bunch of different issues. The brakes are awful, and it understeers really bad. Oops. Trying to remember what button was my change camera. At least it looks good. But yeah, I mean, I really like this car. But I like, you know, single player kind of stuff. And GT3 is going to be a really fun one. That was also, like I've said, my very first GT game. So it's going to be really special for me playing that game and doing something different. I've been doing a personal playthrough of it lately, and it's kind of helped me map out the events I want to tackle for the Let's Play for the prize car only run. And if anything, it's given me some practice too for some of the races in GT3 and stuff like that. The races I want to do, the prize cars I want to get in particular. Usually I do like the Beetle Cup because I love driving the Beetle RSI, but not quite going to do that this time. I think I'm going to just kind of play efficiently and try to get the best cars I can. And I am going to say now, I will probably be utilizing some save scumming and trying to get like good prize cars. I will say my personal playthrough, I've been most surprised by the Camaro LM race car. I went into that game like playthrough like, do I really want this car? and then it just wrecks house. And I'm like, okay, I kind of like this thing. I got to experience the F1 car for the first time. When I was a kid, I never had the patience to play through the events that would get me the F1 car. And so when I finally did it, and I got the F094H or F090S, it was the F090S. That's right, because it was basically a McLaren MP5. And I've never experienced it, so it was really weird to me experiencing the F1 car for the first time in that game. And of course, I got to finally drive the GT1 outside of that super license test, which was really cool. And stuff I didn't get to do in my original playthrough as a child. But, our prize car only run's going to be pretty fun, too. And that one I may try to 100%. I've never 100%ed a Gran Turismo before, just because it's a time-consuming endeavor. But race win, number 1 for the SLR, not too shabby. Can't be mad about that. The car did absolutely wonderful, and should be a great, experience. There was a pretty good gap, too, to our second place car. Pretty impressed. Alright, so we got one more race we need to do, and then I'm going to go back and do the midfield and Fuji races. But one thing I do want to check is the brakes on this car, because it's so bad. I've never experienced brakes this bad. And I've done the racing brakes. Okay, so why does this thing take like a football field to slow down? Let's put some nice wheels on the sports tire setup. I'm kind of butthurt that I haven't gotten to put nice tires, or that I got demoted back to my my bunk setup, my factory wheels. Let's do something different. I've used LMs for okay. Ooh, okay. I haven't really gone this far down the BBS lineup and actually given a crap. I'm gonna go with these. I like those. We're gonna rock those. Alright, let's head on down to Infineon with our fresh-looking set of wheels. So yeah, I've had a lot of fun doing this, though. So I don't want you guys to think that I've not been having fun. I'm having fun right now because I'm tormenting this SLR McLaren with these BBS wheels and these awful brakes. But hopefully the GTWCs will go fairly smooth. One thing that I struggled with on my original playthrough was the GTWCs. So this time around, I'm hopefully going to have a bit of an easier time with it, and with the R8. I had to go get them in Ulta. I had to cop out and get them in Ulta for it on my original playthrough when I was younger. That was only a few years ago, but if you guys want to go see that, let me know. Or I guess don't let me know, because you can go find it pretty easily. Just go to the playlist and look at my GT4 Let's Play. That has everything all the way back to, I think, like from midway through the game to the GTWCs. I originally wasn't going to film it, and I'd started a personal playthrough on my I think it was on my Mac Pro that I had at the time. If you guys have been watching that long, remember my Mac. I had hacked Windows onto it through like a bunch of old forum posts and tricks in the Mac terminal and stuff like that to get Windows to boot on this ancient Mac Pro. But yeah, I mean, it worked really well, and I'm pretty sure I started that GT4 Let's Play on that computer. And yeah, I mean, it was a good series, and that's why I wanted to revisit it for this, though, was to give it a fresh coat of paint, since you guys didn't get to experience the beginning of the game with me through that Let's Play. And sure, it's a little bit different because I'm playing this on hard mode, only using German cars, but that was kind of my strategy for this, was to do something different than my first Let's Play, and I'm all over the road. We've got the horsepower to run. We are absolutely gapping these guys. I don't drive this track very much. Of course, I think this was like one of the only games this track was in. I don't think it was even in GT5. I'm gonna go look. And they needed to disable the driving aids, except for traction control, obviously. ASM gets on my nerves. Maybe that would help a lot, is disabling ASM. Because, I mean, it interferes if I even look at the car funny. I was also reading, apparently every car in GT4 just inherently understeers, which is an unfortunate thing. And it's funny because I tend to prefer understeer setups, but as I've been playing more and more like R Factor 2 and stuff like that, and iRacing, I've kind of gotten more at home with a little bit more oversteer. I prefer a good balance, but I understand that's not something that's going to happen every time I get behind the wheel of a car. So, yeah, I mean, this thing's been a tank. I'm having a lot of fun with this SLR, though. With all of its challenges with the brakes and the handling, it's been still really fun to experience. It's a pain in the butt to drive in GT7, I will say. Goodness gracious, I cannot control that thing. Ah, poop. I kind of wish I'd done sports softs. Maybe that would help a little bit. Oh, so much understeer there. So, I'm chesting my part throttle in this. I hate that the PS2 did not have analog triggers. It had pressure sensitive buttons, which were nice and all, but like they weren't like true analog triggers like on the Xbox controller I'm using for this actually, and like my PS3 controller that I use on my Steam Deck. Which probably seems backwards, but that's what I like to do. I like to be weird and use weird controllers and stuff that there aren't some big use for. And plus Linux plays really nice with PS3 controllers, so. Oh man, the understeer is strong with this one. This car kind of looks like I feel like Darth Vader would drive an SLR McLaren. What do y'all think? Oh, that's why you can't put a wing on it. The active arrow actually functions. For some reason, I was under the assumption it didn't work. And it doesn't really help that much with braking, that's for sure. Ooh, money shift. Oh, the understeer's getting me again. Still got 3 more laps to go. You know what I really want to experience, though? I've been watching tons of videos on it, and I'm really looking forward to this mod, but it's called Gran Turismo 3 Concept. And it's by, I can't remember his name. It's like Misha? Something. I don't want to mispronounce it and like say something bad in another language or something, but... well, we're going over here. Oh my goodness, this car is not enjoying these S's. But, yeah, I've been watching, like, the developments on that, and I'm really excited for that. But I also want to just experience the regular Gran Turismo concept. We never got it in the States, which is, I guess, why I never really heard of it when I was younger. Of course, now that I'm older, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing. But I've been watching like playthroughs of it. I watched like a meme video that Raffle Waffle did, and they talk about the pod race and all that kind of stuff, and which is hilarious to watch. But like, you know, we never got that here in the States, which means I never got to experience it. So I would love to get access to some sort of PAL NTSC conversion of that game, since it was only released in, or Tokyo Geneva at least was only released in PAL markets. Maybe one day I'll be able to play it. I don't really have the desire to hack my PS2 to run a PAL game though. And I'm sure finding copies of GT Concept are not easy nowadays, considering it's a 20-plus-year-old game. 22-year-old game now, which is just crazy to think about, man. I hate this. I hate that I'm getting old. Like, I'm getting closer to 30 every year, and it bothers me. Shoot. Come on. We can make a clean lap. We can make a clean lap. There we go. I think this is a clean lap. I don't think I wrecked back there at the end of the straight. gotta kind of play with this car a little bit. You gotta kind of find its weaknesses, or find its strengths, I guess. This game is not. The reflections are glitching out a little bit on this thing. This thing's been fun. It's a handful, but it's a fun handful. Crap. I think the RS6 did outhandle this thing pretty good. But, well, cut that a little bit. Oh. I bet if I was on my racing hards, this wouldn't be an issue. I just realized I haven't even used my nitrous at all this race. I don't know what the gap is to my opponents behind me. I know it's probably lengthy, though. 14 seconds. Man, that's a smackdown. Go ahead and get that spray up a little bit. I realized I haven't even set that up properly either, so I didn't even do like the increased spray for horsepower and make this thing even faster. One more lap to go and we'll be wrapped up here at Infineon. We still have the 2 races that I need to go back and do from the RS6 and its unfortunate failures. Final lap. I'm trying my best to get a clean lap out of this car. It is so tricky because this thing just kind of wants to go everywhere else other than the track, the tarmac. I blame the tires though. If it had let me put my racing tires, my slicks on here, it probably would have been fine. I wonder if there's like a body kit out there to make like the SL55 and stuff have a bit of like an SLR kind of look to them. Because I love the front end of the SLR. I'm gonna told about to overshoot this. Yep, that's the wall. Oh no, come on, come on, come on. Don't, there we go. That was tricky. And across the line. All right. Not too bad showing from the SLR. That was, I mean, obviously the handling sucks, so that definitely increases the challenge a little bit. But hey, I mean, it was something. All right, so we got to go back and do midfield and then Fuji. And then we'll just have those 2 other championships to do, and we'll be able to wrap this up. Probably we'll still do the DTM, though, just for fun. Not that we need to now, but just for content's sake, to give you guys, like, an extra filler episode. Alright, one of my favorite tracks. We could probably finish a lap up here pretty quick. And the Callaway off to a bad start there. Absolutely love the Zonda. See if I can kind of finesse this car around this corner. One thing I will say is I'm pretty sure the GTWCs is actually shorter in this than it would have been in GT3. GT3 races could be long. All right, lap 2. Try to only use that nitrous on the main straight there. Already got a 6-second gap. There we go. So I like that we can get so much more like cleaner running out here on this track. But I blame the fact midfield's tarmac is massive. It's a big track. It's a very forgiving circuit, I will say. I used to want to recreate this track in real life if ever came into some serious money like I did in the game. Don't quite know now though, because I mean, lap times aren't that dissimilar from Road Atlanta. So I'd almost rather just like recreate Seattle, which is probably my other favorite track. Oh goodness gracious, that airtime, that lack of contact from the front tires definitely screwed us there. Making good time through this race. Apologies for the cut. Went to go tell my dad goodnight. He went to bed, so playing a little bit late into the evening, but yeah. So let's get this race wrapped up. We got 3 more laps to go after this one. So halfway through the race. This race goes by quick in comparison to the other ones. You know, the other races can take up to 10 minutes. You guys saw with New York and Infineon for that matter. They're both fairly lengthy races. This one, on the other hand, is fairly short just due to how fast the lap times are. I mean, a minute a lap is no joke. So yeah, making really good progress. Keep forgetting to disable ASM. It's really killing this car. I'm going to save the spray a little bit. Get way off there. We'll save that for the last lap. Oop, that wall bump kind of threw me off my rhythm there. ASM killing me again. 19-second gap to the Selena 7. All right, we're on the back straight. Let's let her rip. Oh, that was rough. All right, let's see how these last couple laps go. That was a pretty rough final corner there with this car, but gonna make it count. Gonna make these last couple laps count here. I'm getting tired, honestly. I started off this episode so energetic, but I've been filming for almost an hour now. And when I film this long, it kind of wears me out. So that brings me to my question for you guys to close this out. If you guys watch this far, I say close this out like we don't have a whole nother race to do after this. Would you guys, for the Gran Turismo World Championships here at the end of this series, would y'all like it in one really long video that I like take all day to film, or would y'all prefer it to be kind of like how it was with my Gran Turismo 4 Let's Play from like 2019 or 2020, whichever, and do individual episodes for every 2 races? I think that would be really fun and a good way to close out the series. You guys let me know what you would like to do, though. Whether you guys want a full, like, several hour-long video, I presume, or just broken up into multiple videos, as it was a couple years back. All right, as we're entering our final lap here at midfield. All these tires are getting a little worn, huh? They're still green, but it's driving like they're worn. I will say Infineon beat the snot out of those tires. I did see a tinge of yellow on one of them towards the end of the Infineon race. So, definitely being a little hard on this car. Actually, I've come to really like this car. I mean, it drives like garbage, but I've been really having fun with it. It's a good looking car too. Alright, let's wrap this up. Is this going to be the fastest lap? It's definitely not. I don't think so. Yep, nope. 1:14.7. So not enough to claim, or to beat my fastest lap record. AI is crashing the thing. Yeah, what a way to round that out. All right, one more race to go. Let's and we can wrap things up for the night. This has been a lengthy one for me. I'm exhausted. Which is just Fuji, thankfully. It's one of the shorter races. Oh, let me drop my phone on the floor first. Final race. Thankfully, it's the shorter layout, I guess you could say, it being the 90s layout. So, it'd be better if it was the 80s layout and that chicane wasn't even there. Ooh, that grass about got me. ZZ2 leading the pack. It's going to be tricky. Those things are fast. But I forgot that I fully built this car and can easily just yoink right past them. Ooh, lots of understeer. A little rally car action. I don't think Mercedes ever did rally, did they? Could be wrong there. And this car is not taking to this track well at all. If you think about how these brakes, I'd know I need to stop early, but... Oh, well. Just going to go ahead and cut the chicane at that point, really. I mean, I was just going to go straight into the grass anyway. See what she can do without nitrous on it. We'll spray it probably the last couple of laps, see what she can do. 132 is not bad for the fact that it was, you know, the standing start and everything. Crap. That's unfortunate. And of course, they got real deep in the dirt trap, too. It wasn't like I just barely got in there. I went friggin' car deep in there. Gotta keep it a little PG. Gotta keep it a little PG. Probably knew what I wanted to say, but I didn't. Doesn't the modern layout, like, kind of cut through there a little bit? This car is hating this track. See if we can actually make the chicane this time. Barely. This thing is not like that chicane, that is for sure. Forgot to disable ASM again. You'd think by now I'd figure that out, but unfortunately, I haven't. Actually a slower lap than lap 1 because of that giant lay off at turn 1. I'd rather brake a little early than a little too late, you know. Instead of sending myself way off into the gravel. Good 10-second gap, nothing crazy. That probably is part of it. ASM kicks in on the brakes. I'm seeing the light flash to hit the brakes. At least it was when I hit the chicane. Alright, entering lap 4. Over 200. Laps are still taking about a minute and a half, which aren't bad considering like midfield was about 10 seconds faster a lap. So fortunately, I apparently only sucked at the 2 like quicker races with the RS6. Looks like the RS6 was able to wreck house with some of the other ones. Is what I would say if this car would stay out of the gravel anytime I try to take a turn. I'm sure, like I said, if I was able to run those racing cars I spent money on I can't use, this car would be absolutely glued to this track, but unfortunately that's not the case right now. Well, cut the chain again. I wasn't even going to make it. Try not to like cheat, but I can't help it whenever it just makes more sense at that point when I'm already gonna understeer into it, then I might as well just power through it. That's called not paying attention. Probably can brake a touch later. Like right before the 200-meter mark on those signs there. I mean, the car's quick, but it's definitely got its struggles. Especially in the corners here. The RGT would have been good too, but I've already done 2 episodes on roof with the same car. Granted, I've milked VW dry. It's only the second Mercedes we've built for the series so far. Wow. This thing handles so bad. Alright, let's do a little bit of a top speed run. See if this gearing will let us get up to on the straight here at Fuji. Over 220, that is very fast. Thought for sure I'd run out way faster than I did. So this lap I can kind of play around with it a little bit. I almost can lap a car. If I had another lap, I could probably lap whatever car's in last. Kind of lay off the spray there and just kind of Max Verstappen in Miami GP, those cones there, and then Logan Sargent the wall, just like that. Oh well, cutting it again. Oh well. Don't care. Alright, and that will be the Supercar Festival finally finished. Meaning that all that's left in our way is just the trucks and the K cars, stuff we couldn't do with German cars anyway. And then it'll be time for our new Audi R8 to shine. Let's see what our prize car is, because I don't remember what the prize car is for the Supercar Festival. I swear if it's like a second Cadillac CN for some reason, I'm going to freaking lose it. Let's see, what do we get? Oh, the Sazita, or Sizeta. Sazeta, whatever. The V16T, heck yeah. Actually kind of like those cars. It's kind of neat. But, on that bombshell, all that's left for us to take over from here is to do the GTWCs and the professional events, which means we have to go and complete 2 cups that we cannot do with German cars, which is why I saved them for last. So we can do the lightweight K car and the sports truck race, which obviously the K car, we can kind of play dumb and get the Mini and technically say Mini's owned by a German company, being owned by BMW, so maybe, right? Even though that car was built long before BMW purchased Mini. And then the truck race, we can probably cheese something somewhere. I can find some aspect of the Silverado Tacoma, the F-150, or the Ram that was developed in Germany. And that can be how we'll justify it. But anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give a like and subscribe for more content coming soon. We're nearing the end, guys. We're nearing the end. Just got a couple cups to push through. Beginner League should be pretty quick episode for that front. And then we'll probably do the DTM for fun. But I guess to close this out, let's see what DTM race cars we can buy. Now, obviously, I can do the Opel Speedster Cup and get the Calibra. I don't really care to do all that. Is there any Mercedes race car that I can just buy? Of course not. You gotta make it difficult. So, looks like... Can I use the M3 that I won like a few up, like way back? Just for curiosity's sake. If I can find it. Because I would totally use this for DTM if I can. Please tell me I can, because I don't really know what I want to buy. Shoot. Okay, well, let's go with a classic. Let's go with something tried and true. Actually, let me see first. Ah, crap. Don't need any of those. Let's see. What was I looking for? I mean, I imagine this would not really work for DTM. I feel like it has to be one of the actual DTM race cars, which pretty much leaves me with Audi and the Astra. So we're gonna pick the. Let's see. I don't know which one I like more, the App TTR or the A4. I've ran the A4 previously, but I think I'm gonna run with the TTR this time. So I think that'll be a good way to close this. I did not mean to get into the car, but I guess I need to go back to the garage anyway to switch back in to take the photos that are used for thumbnails. So, well, I guess we'll just play around with the TTR for a second. We'll go ahead and just do the oil change and all that stuff. And I guess not. That way we can close this out with a sneak peek of the next couple of episodes. So, we'll probably do the truck race and the K-Car Cup next. And depending on time, we'll jump into the DTM stuff. If not, we'll do the DTM stuff in a future video. And there we go. Some nice oil. Yeah. Anyway, guys, hope you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give a like and subscribe for more content coming soon on GT4. Like I said, we're near the end, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.